David, first of all, what a great 10 months to be part of Everton.
Yeah, it's been fabulous, and we're going to try and reflect back and look at all the good things we've done, and there's been some things maybe not done as well as we'd like, and hopefully try and keep the momentum going now and try and make it happen for another season.
After what happened last summer, I mean, Evertonians, they must be pinching themselves.
Well, I'm glad if they are, but I want this to be the norm. I don't want it to be something which is only a one-season situation. I want this to try and happen more regular, and the job now is to try and maintain that. And it won't be easy, but I look forward to the challenge.
It was a tough time, but as the pre-season started, it seemed to sort of be righting itself, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that we needed to get back working again after the poor season we had. And the players came back and worked tremendously hard on their fitness and gave us everything we asked for. I mean, when we changed the fitness coaches round, and I was looking for a new direction on it, and it worked. And I just think that more importantly, the players gelled together. And from that day, first day back in pre-season, I felt there was always a little bit of hope that we could maybe do better than we'd done the year before.
The first game didn't go our way, but I know you felt Everton didn't play too badly that day.
No, we didn't, and everybody will look at us and say, oh yeah, they looked like relegation material on that day, but we went there and tried to have a game against Arsenal. That was maybe the feeling we had, that I went there and played two up front and tried to beat Arsenal at home in the opening day. Arsenal were just back off a tremendous win in the Charity Shield against Manchester United. We're on a tremendous run of unbeaten games. So it was tough for us, but nevertheless, maybe that was the thing that did kickstart us.
Soon after the 4-5-1 formation came in, was that after what happened there that you sort of started?
No, not really. We didn't introduce it. We went to Crystal Palace and played with two forwards, and I don't think I would put it down as 4-5-1. We've always thought it was sort of 4-1-4-1. And we had very, very good attacking midfield players, which would suit a system like that.
Towards the end of August, unfortunately, you had to sell Wayne Rooney. How much of a blow was that?
Well, it was a blow because we don't want to lose our best players. When I said I came to the club, I would understand if we didn't have a great deal of money, but what I didn't want is I didn't want any team I was beginning to build to be taken away from me. And to be fair to the board, they've stuck with that. But Wayne had made his mind up that he wanted to go, and Manchester United came in for him. It was difficult. It was only a case of trying to negotiate the best deal we could.
And what about the timing? Because it gave you very little time to use any of that money that came in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we all knew Wayne had been injured all summer, and it was going to take him quite a while to get over his foot injury. So we knew that it was going to be tight to the deadline if it was going to happen. And as it was, it happened on deadline day.
Let's just talk quickly about Marcus Bent. How much of an impact do you think he's made this season?
Well, Marcus Bent came in with us, knowing that we still had at the time, we had Wayne in the club and we had Thomas Rosiński at the club. So Marcus was coming in to give us a little bit more. We knew that he could play centre forward or he could play wide right if needed. But he came in and I don't think he started the first game, and I think after that then he established himself in the team. And I think especially in the opening first half of the season, we needed him, and his pace is exceptional, his goals were flowing, and he was giving us something new at that time.
Was September the month where you think, this is it? When we got into that position, you thought, we've turned a corner here?
No, I don't think when we got in there that was the time I said, oh, this is it. But I think by the end of September, we had won 3 or 4 games by then. And we had started to get a decent points total going, which you were saying, barring a disaster, we should make sure we're not relegated, and that's really where everybody was pitching us. And let's be fair, we might have been pitching ourselves around about that area. But come the end of September, we'd started to get enough wins, which were beginning to suggest that we probably wouldn't be at the bottom end of the league.
And the Manager of the Month award for yourself in that month. I mean, obviously, it's great to pick up these type of things.
Well, it was terrific, but individual awards don't really impress me too much, whether it be for the manager or for the players. I'm more interested in team awards, and for me that award for me was basically down to what the team had done on the field.
Preston were back at Goodison this season. What was it like seeing them again? After obviously.
Well, it was a big draw for me, and a big draw for everybody in Preston to get Preston coming to Goodison. We knew it would be a big crowd, and it was that night. And in the end, we beat Preston, but there was periods of the game where it was tough for us. But it was an important night for me because it was my old club, and you always want to do well against one of your old teams.
Moving into November, victory over Fulham, and it equalled the number of wins, I think, from the previous season. And it must be then sort of you start thinking it is going our way this time.
Well, I think by November and December, I had it sort of down in my office that I thought that with the size of squad we had and the players we had, that we would start probably to feel the effects of it. And getting the wins against Fulham certainly kept us going. And again, it was another milestone. It was as many wins as we had the year before. So we continued to sort of knock things off. People said, we hadn't done this. This is what had happened in years gone past. But I felt that we put a few of them to bed this year.
What do you remember of the afternoon against Liverpool?
Well, I remember before it desperately feeling that I needed to win a derby game. I hadn't won one since I'd been here, and I thought maybe the law of averages suggested it's time for us to win one. But we were the team in form. Everybody was saying that maybe for the first time Everton were going into the game favourites, which I found hard to believe with the acquisitions that Liverpool had made this season, that we were getting talked in those terms. But nevertheless, it was a rip-roaring day at Goodison, and one I think I'll remember probably as one of my main highlights this season.
Did it make it so much sweeter for you to see what it meant to the supporters?
I think I always knew what it meant to the supporters. I mean, I'm from a passionate city myself where I know what it means. But I think because it's been so long, I think the way we started the season, it suddenly started to give Evertonians a little bit of hope. They were beginning to think, well, the team have done well, maybe it's not going to be as bad a season as what we first thought it was going to be. And I think come the Liverpool game, I think they were there ready to see if Everton could actually come up with the goods which would suggest that we might do prior to that.
Then the win over Manchester City, part one was completed then, wasn't it?
It was. The season was over, and that meant that beating Manchester City at Christmas time gave us that was the first half of the season done, and the points total we'd taken in that period was terrific, and that then would set us up for the second half of the season.
James Beattie came in early January. Tell us a little bit about why you went for him.
Well, we were short of numbers. James Beattie was available. We knew that if he didn't sign for us, he was going to sign for another Premiership side. We had the Wayne money sitting there. We hadn't spent any money at all from August to January because of the window. So I knew that we had it available. I felt we needed to look for a young, bigger striker who I felt could lead the line, but also had a goal scoring record. James Beattie, I think, had scored over 18 goals in the 2 previous seasons for Southampton. He had been selected in the England squad, and I felt that from our point of view, that was the best available to us, and his goals would help us during the second half of the season.
He's not had the greatest to start, and even himself admits that.
No, he's not, and I tell him that every day. But a lot of it self-inflicted. A lot of it partly because he was out with a broken toe before we brought him in. But nevertheless, I think that he has come in. He's scored a couple of goals, and as well as that, he's missed a few, which in a lot of ways I'm more pleased about, because that tells me that he's getting opportunities, he's getting the chances, and we did bring him to score those goals. We needed to try and improve our goal scoring numbers. Come halfway through the season, we felt that we were going to need to try and find some more goals from elsewhere.
Villa away, did you think then, fourth place is a reality?
Well, prior to the game, I'd said to the players that Liverpool had started to get closer to us, Bolton also, and that this was probably as important a result as we'd have to get this season. And there was a real air of confidence prior to the game, a real self-belief, and it was no surprise to me when the players went out and played so well, and they did probably our best away performance of the season. And
then there were defeats, weren't there, to West Brom, Blackburn, Liverpool. How nervous were you at that point? Did you think maybe it wasn't to be?
Well, we we never set out to lose any games, but nevertheless we always knew that we weren't going to go through the season without losing games. We knew we weren't that good. We knew that we had a decent side, small squad, but you know, it would be impossible for us to go out and beat everybody. And it was. I think it was disappointing that we didn't get the result against Liverpool. They were terrific for half an hour in the game, and you know, really sat us down and upset us. But we hung in there, and by the end of the Liverpool game away from home, we lost 2-1 in the end. If we could have got the extra time that was due in that game, who knows? Because they were down to 10 men, and we were certainly the side who was pressing. But on the day, Liverpool were the better team.
After that period, the response against Palace, you couldn't have asked for more, I suppose.
No, after that, you know, the response we got from beating Crystal Palace was terrific. It was a game we needed to win. It was at home. You know, we were off the back of lots of Sunday games, games in March, which were, you know, it was up and down March. We didn't have a good March. We only had 2 games in that month, and then we had Palace. So it was good that we got that, and to win so convincingly, I think gave us the confidence. As well as that, it gave us the goal difference, which we needed to get back up also.
In that game, you made a decision to bring on youngster James Vaughan. I know you're keen to play him down, but what type of a player is he?
Well, he's a very strong, robust young centre forward. We've seen him a lot. Andy Holden talks a lot about him in the reserves. I see the reserves in most games, and he has improved.
He broke those records. I mean, what was his reaction to that?
Well, I think he was quite surprised and quite shocked. He'd been in the bench before for us a couple of times, so he'd been around the first team. But his training that week leading up to that game was terrific. He was scoring goals in training. He was messing around experienced central defenders in training, and it was noticeable. So for me, he was ready. It was just whether the right opportunity would come to put him in the team.
Now, the 4th place was sorted effectively after the Newcastle game. What were your feelings after that?
Well, after the Newcastle game, you know, they weren't exactly confirmed, but we knew that if the game the next day went for us, then we would be in the Champions League. I think winning the Newcastle game, in my mind, I thought it would be very hard for us now not to force spot, and if we didn't, I felt as if we'd given everything we could do. The players had got to 61 points. 2 seasons ago, we finished the season with 59 points. So for me, that was an improvement. We'd won 18 games in the Premier League by now, which was a marvellous amount of games to win. So there was excitement, but also a little bit cautious, because we knew that there was also a chance after that game that maybe, you know, things could go against us, so we couldn't celebrate as fully as we would have liked.
But as soon as it was confirmed, you celebrated, I'm sure.
We did. We got the players together, and we all met up in Liverpool after the game on the Sunday, and rightly so, because those players all year I'd asked them to be extremely professional, do the right things, you know, keep our head down, don't say too much, you know. And then I felt then that was the time. Then we'd taken a lot of pressure. We were under pressure since September to stay 4th, with you know, a lot of criticism for either not being good enough, you know, shouldn't be there, you know, and so from that point of view, we felt that, you know, we deserved it.
How do you feel that you're about to become a manager, taking a team into the Champions League?
Well, I'm excited by it. Also very, very cautious, you know. And the thing about it is we have qualified for the Champions League, but only for the qualifier. And we know that the qualifier we could draw against one of the big clubs, which could mean that, you know, it can be very difficult. But I think it's more important that we've established ourselves in the higher end of the Premier League. What we get from that is a crack at in the Champions League. We obviously know if we can get through the qualifier, then the proper money comes into it. There's not a great deal of money in it just for qualifying. You have to get through. But it's saying that if we don't make it, then we know that we'd also have a chance of getting a go at the UEFA Cup. So it's exciting times for me, but certainly for everybody at Everton.
Just a quick word on a couple of individuals. First, Tim Cahill. He made the step up from the First Division into the Premiership. How much of an impact do you think he's made?
Tim Cahill's had a tremendous first season in the Premier League, and you know, we've been delighted with his contribution, his goals, his all-round play. the type of person is around the club is exactly what we hope for. You know, he may find it tougher in the second year, but at this moment in time, his first season's been exceptional.
Just a final word on Bill Kenwright.
Well, you know, I think he's enjoying the success as much as MD, because more importantly he's an Evertonian, and he wants to see his side get back to the top. So he had a lot of big decisions to make. He was the one who was involved in bringing me here in the first place. You know, and now it looks as if the decisions that he's made are beginning to come through, and you know, he deserves a pat in the back, because you know it was tough for him in the summer leading up to this year, and hopefully he gets the success he deserves.